What is up, and welcome to the show. Sorry, let me get I gotta get my things all adjusted. My mic stand is definitely not in the right place. I'm already, slouching in a weird way. How are you doing? Okay, and I have the camera over here, but we're doing this a little bit. How are you doing? Got my RFK Jr. Oh, I forgot it doesn't quack anymore. More squeals. RFK Jr. is a quack. But yeah, no, I found all my noisemakers, so we'll see how that goes. How are you doing tonight? This is a new show, but it's obviously an iteration of the same old show. Put this in case the title, everything you just said is easily Googleable, or the working title was, and demonstrably false. It's a little bit long. Of course, being a Fallout Boy. In fact, everything you just said is easily Googleable and demonstrably factually incorrect was the original working title. As a Fallout Boy fan, obviously I like long titles, but that's a little bit much. Everything you just said is easily Googleable. I might just shorten it to easily Googleable. I thought about just shortening it to factually incorrect. But then, of course, the invariable right-wingers who wander in who'll be like, oh, you admit you're factually incorrect, when the purpose of the show, if I haven't made it clear by now, I will be fact-checking. I will be talking about individuals I really don't want to be talking about. Because they're getting so much of a news cycle that I don't think that they deserve. Honestly, because no matter what you say about this individual, and I'll start the disclaimer very clearly here, and then at the beginning of that segment, I absolutely do not advocate for political violence against anyone. I don't think any rhetoric is justification for political violence. I think all forms of violence are reprehensible, except self-defense, I guess, but is that even a form of violence? And I don't think any of that matters. We have entered the era of free speech, is what we say it is. We are on the hunt. We're searching and doxing. We're putting together websites, which may or may not have been taken down. That is actually one I did not fact check. I'll give you examples of what I mean, though, when I get to it. Actually, let's just do that. No, I'll give you an example when I get to it. When we get to the actual news portion. But yeah, for the record, I don't think my purpose is even talking about this individual, but talking about the massive amount of rhetoric and misinformation that has generated as a result of them being in the news, which in and of itself is indicative to me, but whatever. I am curious how Girme Zahile's town hall went. I had to do my class tonight, so I wasn't able to do that. I can't read. I already can't read my own notes. Hold on. I've been doing this project. I really believe in the work, but I feel like I just keep going to these meetings and getting called out for something I have no control over. I keep saying, over and over at this point, I can't make these decisions. These decisions have to be made by someone else who is not me, and I'm not authorized to make these decisions, and the person who's authorized isn't here in the room, and so what are you yelling at me for? It's just kind of what it starts to feel like, even though, again, I want to work with these people, and I want this project to be successful. So last night I went to the Yes on Prop 1, and I do believe in Prop 1. Vote yes on Prop 1. Bruce Harrell was speaking. I was asked not to film. I did post to this, banned from filming. I joked. The guy was very, very nice about it. He was like, this is a closed event. And I said, okay. And I turned my camera off. But I was like, I almost wanted to be like, hey, can you say it again? But make it sound like you're kicking me out. But no, I don't do that kind of thing. But as a joke. I had a meeting for my candidate forum, so separately, I'm organizing an event. That's going to be on October 9th at El Centro de Raza. You are welcome to come in person. I just doxed myself. But Bruce Harrell will be there, Katie Wilson will be there, Deion Foster will be there, but not Sarah Nelson. Erica Evans will be there, but not Ann Davidson. I probably not to the surprise of no one. Eddie Lynn's going to be there. Alexis Mercedes Rink is going to be there. Pretty much all the progressive candidates I'm probably I'm going to vote for anyway. So, I don't think I'm voting for Eddie Lynn, but I'll be curious to hear what he has to say. And I guess we're behind on crafting the questions, and it's now like just a couple weeks away, so I think I'm in charge of but no, not all the questions. I'm sorry, the child care related questions. And then an interesting sort of sub-debate. They didn't actually say it out loud, but they kind of joked about how they know each other's personalities. And one was saying, if it starts to feel like, again, because some candidates, we're anticipating candidates who either didn't respond or who responded no may show up just because they get a cancellation on their calendar, or they may just show up. That was the interesting thing. I found out, from one of the people on the candidate forum committee that I'm on, apparently there are 21 different forums going on. So really, the success rate we've got to get the candidates that we've got to show up is actually really good. But anyway, the debate between if it starts to feel like because some candidates haven't shown up, we have extra time, do we end early? Or do we just take more audience questions? If they didn't state, while smirkingly acknowledging these two people who work together in the same organization in real life. Again, being a coalition, the committee is made up of people from a lot of different organizations. Some people are representing elder care, some people are representing like food bank and food insecurity. I'm representing child care. But yeah, the two people who actually work together full time. All right, I'm going to play one more by Jawbreaker off of 24-Hour Revenge Therapy. That was West Bay Invitational, Jinx Removing, and Insadings Around. But no, I know because the guy who was in charge of the meeting tends to always, if the meeting seems like it's going to go early, he finds filler, whereas I think the other person was more if we end early, we end early. No one's going to complain at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, hey, you promised to keep us here until 8:30 if all their questions got answered. So we'll see who wins out in that debate at the actual event. Okay, so YouTube gave me a notification that they fixed issue with comments and channel info where they weren't loading properly and you weren't seeing them. I did kind of notice I haven't seen comments recently. That's okay, you don't have to like, comment, or subscribe. But in particular, what they didn't mention or address is one of my pretty regular viewers and commenters. At one point during a live stream, it said they were removed, and then separately it said that their comment was blocked, and it said it was done by me. It said done by, and it had my username. And I was like, but I didn't do that. Unless I did, because sometimes anyone who watches my live streams sees how often I accidentally trigger the green screen. So if I accidentally blocked or removed you from one of my top viewers because I haven't seen you since then, I'll have to figure that out because that was absolutely an accident. But I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure at both of the times that the time it happened to someone else the previous time. And again, to shout out to Astronaut, yeah, both times it happened, I don't think it was user error. In any event, YouTube didn't say anything about that. They just said that they had fixed an issue with comments in general. So I hope so. So of course, there's always the disclaimer that this show comes from a mix of sources, social media, and more traditional media. I really do try to do my fact checks and or let you know when I either can't or in some cases just can't be bothered, and I'll let you know tonight in particular. There's a long list that I did not fact check, but once I started, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is probably all bullshit. But this is just an example. This isn't like a top story or anything, but we're going to get to the news next. This just happens to be based on a social media post that had a whole bunch of facts that I debunked separately. So let's start with that the Pope buys his hats on Etsy. Absolutely unverified. The Pope, I couldn't actually find out where specifically Pope hats come from, but most of the Pope's wardrobe comes from locally owned family businesses, in some cases ones that the Pope or the Vatican has used since, like, there's this one company called Garamelli that they've used since 1798. There's another one called Maminelli. Again, these are family, generational passed down, that hand make the Pope's clothes. The Pope, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who would buy that, but no, the Pope does not buy his hats on Etsy. Number two, the Pope's car is a Mercedes. It is. The Pope's car is currently, the Pope, as many people know, is known as the Pope-mobile. The current one is an all-electric G-Class Mercedes. G-Wagon. So that is correct. And then again, this is how misinformation works. And I'm saying misinformation, not disinformation, because I don't think this person was, except for the Etsy thing. I think they probably knew that the Pope doesn't buy his hats on Etsy, and or they knew, that is such a strong claim. I should do at least the basic fact checking, because they had all these other facts about the Pope, so it looks like they did some fact checking. The next one is that the Pope owns a giant telescope, verified, asterisk, for spotting aliens, absolutely unverified, asterisk. So does the Pope own a giant telescope? The Vatican has the Vatican's Advanced Technology Telescope, or VAT. I had no idea. The actual written, if you go to the website, the actual specific reasoning for the Vatican to run a world-class level, and when I say telescope, I don't mean like for the Pope to look out. I'm talking about like a building that people work inside that's like equivalent to what, anything that NASA would run or something like that. It says to understand our place in the universe, which is actually a really Catholic way of talking about it. However, it does actually, if you go deeper into it, I mean, it's to explore the cosmos, blah blah blah. But it doesn't rule. It actually does not rule out the existence of aliens, or that. But of course, neither does NASA. And then, of course, there's SETI, which is a perfectly respectable scientific organization, which stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Again, not with the belief that they exist. Oh my God, why aren't they playing Blink 182? Not with the belief that they exist, but the belief that it could be possible, and that's one of the things we should be searching for. So, did I fact check everything? Yeah, no. So those are the claims. That the Pope buys his hat on Etsy? No. That the Pope's car is a Mercedes? Yes. The Pope has a giant telescope? Yes. That the giant telescope is for spotting aliens? Maybe? No. No. So that's the type of fact checking I'm going to be doing on this show. But not for every story. And like I said, I'll warn you if and when we're doing this. I'm just like, in some cases, I either couldn't or I could. Yeah, the information is not there, and then I'll just say, unknown. This is Half Alive. Is it half? Half Alive with Conditions of a Punk off of Conditions of a Punk. I think, if I'm on side A. Maybe. We'll find out. Whatever I'm playing is what I'm playing. Please enjoy. So now we get to the news. Robert Redford dead at 89. Legendary actor Robert Redford dead at and director dead at 89. I have to admit, I confused him with Paul Newman, and I was like, no, it's Paul Newman. Paul Newman has been not alive for quite some time, but Robert Redford, I think, just quietly retired some time back, so he's not been in the news a lot, but you may, if you're on social media, especially if you're on what I call Black Talk, see a lot about Trey Reed, a young man who was found hanged in Mississippi. The police are saying no foul play, but many other people think otherwise. Corey Zukatis is another young man who was found hanged hours earlier. I hate to say this, but he's not getting as much attention on social media, apparently because he's not black. And it's weird, but that's actually, because originally it was reported that 2 black men in Mississippi, and I don't think it's because, I want to be very, very clear, because things get misconstrued and misunderstood very, very easily. I do not think it's because people care, or any kind of reverse racism, or that's where society is and people care about black bodies more. But the media does love to sensationalize things, and the story of 2 black bodies found hanging in Mississippi was a sensational story that they wanted to run with. And once they couldn't run with that, the headline still said, they just changed it to black man found hanging in Mississippi, and then in the body said, yeah, and another guy too, sorry to his family. And that was really weird to me. And I was like, this actually, the coverage of it, is actually really weird to me. Nonetheless, 2 young men found hanging in Mississippi is a tragedy, and I think that should be talked about. And because it's much more easy to speculate on one than the other, I think that's why people are running with it. But again, since you don't know the facts in either, why are you speculating at all? I thought that's what the other people do, and we don't do that. But unless we do when we want to, because stop it. Okay. Okay, there's a content creator who just goes by the name B, which annoys me because at work but they do a lot of good content that I like. One of them was they did a whole series, not a series, but a whole, it was a short, but basically comparing the, what we were taught in America is the potato famine, but the potato starvation, to what's going on in Palestine, and how you may have heard some version of basically, I mean, this is really what I remember being taught in school. This sort of foolish Irish only planted potatoes because they're so obsessed with potatoes, and then their potato crop died, and then that's all they had, and they died, and then, and that's what happened, and it was all on them. No, what was happening was they grew all sorts of things, like most people do around the world, but the British took it all and left them with only potatoes. So, and that's all demonstrably true. The flotilla that Greta Thunberg was on was bombed by a drone. That is verifiably true. Netanyahu drops flyers on all of Gaza City, 1.1 million population, warning them to leave or die. That I don't have verification for. I know flyers were dropped, but I could not, separate from social media, verify what the flyers said. Bridge of Solidarity, another social media post, and again, I don't think I have to verify this. Because it's in the video, but also I would know that this exists because I know how the world works. A lovely video, Afro-Palestinians, exactly that, with the hashtag Black Lives Matter in Gaza. And yes, I would assume they don't get a lot of attention because they're not an enormous majority, but I would have assumed they existed, but I didn't. Seeing a video about specifically their plight and what's going on with them was I'm always trying to learn and grow, but it was also a touching experience. Is it called Summerland? I think so. Trump is currently in the UK, where protesters are chanting "Not welcome" and unrolling enormous banners, calling attention to his connections with Epstein. For the next segment, we go to the Video Daily Double. I have an update on the school protest. I have a couple of stories. I have an update on the school protest here, and this one was for the splitting of the school lunches, which would prevent a lot of children from being able to participate in their chosen extracurricular activities. Hundreds and hundreds of children and their parents, you can see quite a few adults, showed up. I have video, but typically on this show you can't see the video, but I think the audio is probably the more compelling part anyway. Fluffy showed up, the Go With Fluffy, the green dude who rides the motorcycle, and he showed up and he just saw the crowd. I don't think he even knew what it was about. He was like, hey, what's going on? And Yeah, no. Anyway, here's as soon as this, I'm gonna let this play out, and then I'll. I lied. I thought it was going to play out. That was the end of the song, but it's going to keep going. Okay, I don't think you can really hear what they're saying. They're chanting one lunch, one lunch. And that's if you can see that's outside of the district school board building. Fluffy asked the kids, is there anyone in favor of the one lunch? And the kids were like, the administration, the government. But I don't know, just the way he said it was really funny. I don't know, like just sort of, I don't know who he's picturing. He's like Mr. Government, who's like, make those kids eat 2 lunch, mwahaha. But also, that kind of is how it works, just to save like 4 cents or whatever. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, students and their parents have been protesting for months, actually. Just recently, like I think yesterday, previously and ongoing, protesting against proposed laws that would prohibit immigrant students from participating in school. And then more recently, yesterday, they were chanting for stronger gun laws. What's wild is the video, and this again confirmed, is the video of lawmakers who have called state troopers on literal children and are like holding onto their shoulders to like walk through the crowd of children who are chanting, but like they're scared. Like, you realize these people, and again, every time people get like the mass police response, I'm like, you realize these are anti-gun protesters. They're not. Like, I don't know. It's just so wild. But yeah, no, you could see the lawmakers visibly afraid of their own constituents, and in this case, children. But they won't do anything to protect them, of course. I'm going to play something by Childish Gambino. Okay, this is Sweet Thang featuring Summer Walker, followed by Lilfoot Bigfoot featuring, let's say, Young Nudie. Sounds good. Off of Atavista. This was the record that was like streamed for like 12 hours and then just disappeared, and you couldn't get it anywhere, and then it randomly popped up like months later, but it had a completely like different songs on it, and then it I think this is probably my favorite song on the record. Target, in business news, Target's 12th straight month of foot traffic decline. Their hopes for back to school boost dashed. I guess if the premise of this episode is fact checking, I can verify the first part. That is easily verifiable information. It is Target. You can just look at the numbers in a graph, and Target's numbers have gone down. Were they hoping for a back-to-school boost? I would assume so, but it didn't seem like this was based on any internal documentation, or I think it was just speculation. Like any retail business hopes for certain predictable, if Target doesn't have a good Black Friday, will it be reported that Target was disappointed by their Black Friday, even though there's no evidence that they were especially hoping for Black Friday to turn things around. But at this point, one can, without verification, speculate they hope anything will turn it around, and anything, whether that's back to school, but again, that strikes me as speculation. So I'm probably going to slip up, but yeah, no. And I personally still don't think this is necessary, but again, like I said, what you say is critical, or what you say is slanderous, inflammatory, or whatever they want, it's going to be whatever they say it is. Free speech is whatever they say it is now. So for the purposes of this episode, the individual I will be talking about, we're just going to call them Mr. K. I was originally going to say CK, but I think A, that's... I don't want to... I like CK, like CK1 or whatever. We're not going to do that. So Mr. K, I mean, he's not my friend anyway, so Mr. K. Some people are using some people are calling him, and I don't want to promote this either, because we're going to get to the individual who created this character, but the no-nose villain from a popular Wizard series, some people are calling him that. Yeah, I'm not going to promote any of that, and I'm not going to... But for the purposes of this episode, we're just going to say Mr. K. Oh, yeah, me immediately like, but you're going to... Yeah, well, yeah. So we're going to start fact-checking ourselves, because I had previously said, and Snopes actually did the confirmation on this one, Charlie Kirk, I knew I was going to do it, really said that children of a certain age should watch executions as initiation, but he never said that they should be forced. And that is language that I think some on the left, I don't think I did, but some people did, that he said children should be forced, but that wasn't actually the language he used. He did say children of a certain age should watch as initiation. He also said that Coca-Cola should sponsor, and that it would be very American. I mean, in an odd way, yes, but in all the wrong ways to me. According to Snopes, Mr. K did not say that gay people should be stoned to death, and Stephen King had to apologize for spreading that misinformation. Which again, I mean, that's one sort of hallmark of misinformation versus disinformation is the person who spreads it is willing to acknowledge when they got it wrong and course correct. And we're seeing, but that doesn't prove that then, therefore, everything that person spreads is misinformation, because some people who I absolutely am certain spread disinformation, and we'll get to some of that, also occasionally will self-correct as well. As I said, it gets complicated. Some people genuinely do trade in misinformation and disinformation, and sometimes even the truth, but, they sprinkle in a little bit of that as well. To try and cover all their bases. So, Mrs. K has raised $4.7 million, or actually over $4 million. I didn't verify the exact number, and actually I got that from the New York Post, who it might be in their interest to inflate it and make it seem like it's more. I'm going to point out that Mrs. K has raised $4.7 million from a GoFundMe. A couple things here. One, she has an estimated net worth of $12 million. That's verified, so I don't... Okay, but people are allowed to give money to whatever they want. And yes, again, that's easily Googleable. Multiple sources have it's net worths are always an estimate, but that's the estimate. And there is a established way that those are calculated. The other part of that for me is that GoFundMe, what's the name of that other site, like Ready Stash Go or whatever, that was created whenever you wanted to donate to people so hateful they couldn't be on GoFundMe, like Ashley Babbitt, or those people who pulled a shotgun on a guy just for being black in their neighborhood. Like, when you want to raise money for those kind of people so that they can run for Congress or whatever you think is a good idea, how you want to support those kind of people. If GoFundMe is doing things like that now, are they going to go out of business? Because, it sounds like we're at anything goes level now at GoFundMe. And since GoFundMe has so much more visibility, I'm assuming even hateful trolls who are like, we're never using GoFundMe again because we have this alternative. If they're allowed back on GoFundMe, they will use GoFundMe again. I also cannot confirm that Mrs. K did an ASMR coffin video. If you're just making shit up like that, that's really morbid. But I could not independently verify that myself. An influencer, I don't know her name, and actually it's probably for the best because I'm not going to say necessarily maybe great things about her. She's a leftist who likes to stitch right-wingers. I've never really cared for her. We're going to get to Dean. She reminds me a lot of him, but he's going to be our main villain. If we were doing that, like Heroes and Villains, he's going to be our main villain of the evening. But she, for the same reason, she comes off as smug. It seems more about being right and like getting a good dig in and ad hominem attacks about appearances or cool points or whatever. Again, none of them I really like. Like Good Trouble, Tizzy, and all the people who engage in that debating. I mean, I understand why that's kind of necessary, but none of them I really like for various reasons. And again, oftentimes because they use exactly the same tactics that the right wing do. And maybe like Gavin Newsom, their excuse is that's all they respond to. You're still going down into the mud with them. I talk about some version of this in every episode practically. Even Ebony Warrior, who I like, still had to admit recently that they had made fun of someone who was seemingly disabled, and it probably shouldn't have been people having to point that out to them. They probably could have known better if they weren't so quick to go to name calling and making fun of people's appearance and all the things that we used to say were wrong with the right wing. In any event, she claims she has lost her job and she has started a GoFundMe, but she's also bragging in her typical style but thanks right wing, because now you just freed me up to make more videos. And I'm like, well, what is it? You need money for a GoFundMe, or you're making enough from your video? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, I said, okay. Content warning, J.K. Rowling. I said we'd get to it, and we will. This one is surprising. I thought this is MDC. Off of. I'm not even saying that anymore. This is Dick for Brains, followed by I Hate Work, followed by My Family's a Little Weird. J.K. Rowling quotes Adolf Hitler knowingly. This is absolutely verified because it's from her official account. She sourced and named Mein Kampf. Let me double check this, because now I'm like, or were those just screenshots? I have the screenshots, but people can fake screenshots. I need to double check this one. So, yeah, sometimes I'll do the fact checking in real time. Yeah, no, it. Okay, sorry, I fell down a completely separate rabbit hole around apparently J.K. Rowling questioning whether the Nazis persecuted trans people. Again, so that's not new. That was May of 2024. But yeah, no, she quoted Hitler. She sourced it. Mein Kampf. She knew exactly what she was doing. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. The MDC with my family is just a little weird. Which, if we want to be honest, is kind of just a ripoff of We're a Happy Family by Ramones, right? Okay, we talked about Kash Patel and like the combination of misinformation, disinformation, and occasionally, I'm assuming, the truth. The FBI is now saying that Tyler Robinson, I don't normally name perpetrators, but okay, I think we know who they are. I'll have to come up with something initialism for them. Left behind a note that has been destroyed. However, they are claiming, Patel claimed in a panel that they know what the note said because of forensic evidence. So I'm not going to fall down the Blueanon skeptical. There are people saying it's Epstein 2.0, but we had a note. We don't have a note. You'll never see the note, but we know what the note says. These are not the people I trust with something like that. So again, I'm going to say unverified. I'm going to play one more actually, since this is greedy and pathetic. Okay, fact check, because a nurse did not get fired for reporting a doctor over celebrating Mr. K's death in front of patients and under staff. That latter part apparently did occur. Initially, she was suspended. However, the doctor ended up resigning, quote-unquote, voluntarily, and a statement from the medical whatever said that the nurse is expected to work all shifts. So in that case, Fox News actually got the story correct, and many others didn't because they ran with what they wanted to believe, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you believe. Similarly, a Texas student was not arrested for dancing. Apparently, I'm sure that I would like to see video, but apparently what she was charged with, whether she actually did this or not, what she was charged with was assault, including apparently shoving a veteran. But I do think it's interesting. What's interesting there is that both News Nation just left that out completely, and they're generally considered a fairly balanced news source. And people are saying it's because the narrative that Well, because that's more clickbaity. That the narrative of this student was arrested just for saying that they didn't like Charlie Kirk, but that's not what happened. They apparently ended up getting into a physical altercation, or at the very least, the police are saying they got into a physical altercation. The fact that they were bailed out for $200, and I bet we're never going to hear about this again because no charges will ever be filed, makes me wonder whether there was actually a physical altercation. But at least on paper, the police didn't say, we're arresting you for saying something we don't like. But that's how the news reported it. What's even weirder is that's how Governor Abbott reported it. He wants you to believe in the state of Texas you don't have free speech. He would rather you believe that than believe that police are not corrupt. I don't know. It's kind of weird that he chose a narrative that makes his state seem corrupt. But I honestly think that is the impression he wanted to give. This is The Hated off of Best Piece of Shit Volume 4 with Hey Mister followed by I Don't Like You. Okay, it's not inconclusive. Numerous sources are reporting that a particular individual said that if their 10-year-old daughter were raped, they would force them to carry to term. Again, forced was never in their language, and it actually came in the form of answering a question. When asked specifically, they said, if you had a daughter, and he said, I do have a daughter, and they said, okay, if she was 10 and assaulted, he actually says that's a little extreme, to which they say it's a possible hypothetical, to which he doesn't, which he actually begin his typical like I'll debate anyone style. He doesn't actually dispute, because at least in some places that is actually true. And then he said, he didn't say I would force my daughter to do that. He said that baby would be born. It is a direct quote, and I have a video. I don't know if it's necessary. For some of these things, I am going to have video evidence, because they're blatantly saying people didn't say things that they said on tape, because again, everything's easily Googleable, but the meme is some of people can just say whatever they want because they know for a fact their constituents will not Google, and will just take whatever word they say. Okay, hold on. Okay, so first of all, JD Vance actually is hosting the Charlie Kirk show, and if I'm not mistaken, from the White House, which doesn't sound legal, but
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama.
Wait, hold on.
And Sheila Jackson Lee and
Sorry.
Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action.
Oh my gosh, why does this not work? Why does this not work?
Now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action.
Oh my God. Okay.
You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken to the shoes.
I hate. Okay. Right, sorry.
Had to go steal a white person's slot.
Oh my God! Why was it? What? Okay. Sorry. Me fighting my phone. Okay, if I go completely out of the app and then start again, why would you start in the middle of a video? Oh. But also, okay. This is, okay. I hate my phone. I'm hating my phone right at this particular moment. There's no way to restart this so that it will start at the beginning of the video. Like, that's just not a choice.
media calls
It's
us
not.
racist
Okay.
for
Oh,
wanting to
can I go to the? Oh my! And there's no.
censor us, but it doesn't change the truth.
Okay.
Joe
I'm fighting my phone, and I don't know what to do about it because.
Biden's open border
And
is
I'm sick of
killing
hearing
Ohio.
JD Vance's voice, but I can't get it to go back to the beginning, and I don't want to. All right, I'm just muting it. I'm just muting it.
This issue is
Oh my god, it won't even let me mute it. This is fucked up. Oh, it literally wrote. That's like I just adjusted the brightness. What the fuck? Yeah, what? That's what I really. Oh my god. Oh, I have to press something different. Okay.
processing power to be taken seriously.
Okay. Wait.
If you
Hold.
go and watch the clip, the Bruins obsessive writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words.
I love
Why
how.
are you lauding JD Vance? Google is free. Let's do what your people refuse to do and actually look at the facts.
If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called racist.
That's
But now
literally
they're
how
coming
he
out and
said
they're
that.
saying it for
That's.
us. They're coming out and they're saying, "I'm only here because of affirmative action." Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
JD Vance, I actually expected you to be this way because I remember your Senate campaign video.
Are you a racist? Do you hate Mexicans? The media calls us racist for wanting to build Trump's wall. They censor us, but it doesn't change the truth. Joe Biden's open border is killing Ohioans. With more illegal drugs and more Democrat voters pouring into
Literally starting your campaign video with "Are you a racist?" pointing to the camera, practically "I want you" style is wild. That obviously wasn't even the clip that it was going to be the clip where he said it's okay to whatever. But yeah, we'll get there. All right, back to fact checking. No, as far as I know, Trump did not call for all trans people to collectively be labeled a terrorist organization. However, people pretty close to him, like Laura Loomer, said that the trans movement, and then that he should immediately make transitioning illegal in the United States. And I think Stephen Miller also said hateful stuff. Okay, excuse me. Sorry, Karma.
And so they compared them.
Okay.
This person went in 1 week and got like
Okay. Sorry, bad timing, Karma. Yeah. Finally, okay. Pretty good takedown on politics don't belong in sports, except now, starting with the Packers-Commanders game on Thursday, where there was a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, who I guess technically isn't a politician, but I mean his proximity to politicians. JD Vance took over his show. That tells me, yeah, he is political. I mean, if literally kneeling is political because we say it is, then we say Charlie Kirk is political. But the league acknowledged that on Thursday it was their decision. Then after that, they left it up to teams. If you care, teams that did do silence for Charlie Kirk were the Jets over the weekend. The Jets, the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Titans, the Chiefs, to no one's surprise, and the Cowboys, commonly considered. Yeah, anyway, teams that did not: the Bengals, the Lions, the Colts, the Vikings, the Steelers, and the Rams. I'm curious, did the Seahawks not play this weekend? I don't know. Oh, and I said I didn't fact check this one, but apparently the doxing website that they've created got 27,000 submissions, and then either has been taken down, has been overwhelmed, or is temporarily down. I don't know. One way or another, people are saying it's down, but it's also very, very popular. Like yeah. So that's an example of an unverified story. Am I playing one more? Oh, I actually wrote, we can keep lists too, but then apparently we can't, because as I started to fact check these, I don't know which of these are true. Some of them I can. Let's see if we go through the list. These are celebrities who said glowing, wonderful things about Mr. K. And specifically, what the list was, but were crickets on Melissa Hortman and her husband and dog, by the way, who were killed. So again, politics is what we say it is. Political violence is what we say it is. No politics in sports. Politics is what we say it is. Charlie Kirk's death is political violence, but mourning it is not political. Make it make sense. Let's start with Kristen Chenoweth, who everyone in the comments said, well, she's Christian and she's from Oklahoma. I hate for that to be like, well, yeah, duh. But Hansen ultimately ended up disappointing me, so yeah. Rainn Wilson, that one did come as a surprise, and that one is, he called Charlie Kirk courageous for speaking his truth. A white man espousing racist, sexist rhetoric is about as... Well, no. I'm not even going to go there. What that tells me is that Charlie Kirk's truth is a type of truth to Rainn. It is on the spectrum of truths. I mean, he didn't say our truth, but as far as I'm concerned, it is within the acceptable range of truths, which tells me that, I am done with Rainn Wilson. Selma Blair, boo. Jack Osborne, not surprising. The entire Osborne family, except Ozzy, who I don't genuinely, only because I don't think he knows what's going on, and I'm not saying that to be unkind, but I just genuinely, thankfully, I don't think Ozzy's a hateful bigot, only because I don't think he's really knows what's going on, including kind of some of the things his family members have said. Some people are calling it a hoods off moment. I think it's more just kissing the ring. I mean, I think it's just... Speaking of kissing the ring and pandering to billionaires, this is the Jason Nivens extended... this is the Jason Nivens extended remix of Nothing in the World by Paris Hilton. No, I'm lying. I'm going to play the Cascade remix. Did I say pandering to billionaires? Yeah, just remember, if you bought her little mini beauty fridge, it's been recalled. Miss Rachel, my prayers and love go out to Mr. K's family. Violence is never the answer. I get where she's coming from, and I've said absolutely. My heart and does absolutely go out to those children who have no choice in any of this, and well, obviously there's no reality where they can't be traumatized, and that is. But when you say his family, again, that includes his wife, who is calling for violence and violence against the world. Like, I don't know if Ms. Rachel has heard some of her statements, but I mean, vengeance and violence. So if you're saying, again, all these people who say, we're gonna fire you for saying something about Charlie Kirk because our values are dignity for all. Just a really weird cognitive dissonance of like what you're defending. Mariska Hargitay, and I didn't see the quote, but I kind of believe it. I mean, she's kind of been part of propaganda for that's her entire career, so probably not surprising. Jennifer Coolidge, again, disappointing but not surprising. I kind of feel like she's just in her jump on any bandwagon era. And then Viola Davis is the only one I actually really extensively tried to fact check, and I couldn't. I would be really disappointed, but I can't do anything about that. And also, she's a grown person who can say whatever she wants. Mandy Moore, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ashley Tisdale, Josh Duhamel, Tia Mowdrey. That one's a disappointing one. Adam Sandler. And then on the flip side, an unnamed actress, again, for their protection, who said, I'm not in favor of what happened to Mr. K, but Mr. K was in favor of what happened to Mr. K, which, again, I don't see that. I think that's just a statement of fact, but someone can interpret as any way they want. It really feels like the media is pandering to Sydney Sweeney. She has some new movie out, and they're going out of their way to make sure they're showing they haven't canceled her or something. Or maybe it's just, I don't know, like 2 months ago I liked Sydney Sweeney and I didn't even notice how much Sydney Sweeney coverage there was. And now I'm like, oh, that's... I thought she was okay, not great in White Lotus, and I thought she was okay, not great in Euphoria. So recently, someone has assembled a supercut of a variety of people, everyone from Marco Rubio to Nancy Mace to all of them, saying one is too many. Speaking specifically, this is how when they no longer have an argument to logical, rational. When they no longer respond to logical, rational arguments, they pivot and they just kind of they pivot. So anyway, the supercut is one is too many, one is too many, one is too many, one is too many. Specifically regard to any amount of crime from the immigrant community, because of course the Democrats have pretty successfully hammered through the message to a lot of people, not everyone, and not everyone obviously, but to a lot of people, that crimes committed by immigrants is statistically very, very small. And so again, they can't argue that. Like, you can just pull up the numbers in the charts. And so rather than argue that it's statistically small, they pivot to one is too many. And then every single time there's like a school shooting that, again, is never an immigrant, funny how one is not too many. Again, we're listening to Nothing in the World by Paris. Full on in her... I feel like it feels like a full on in her Madonna era. Okay, let's talk about Dean Withers. He's... unlike that other content creator who I said I didn't really care for her, she often comes off as smug. I was on the fence about her. Her intentions I felt were good, though again she comes off as smug and more just about having the showing up right-wingers rather than really trying to change hearts and minds. And that's my problem with a lot of these. They create provocative content that ultimately, as someone who, specifically with regard to Dean Withers, pointed out, it's entertainment. You are using other people's trauma, that especially when the shit hits the fan, you don't have to actually live in, for entertainment, because your content doesn't solve problems. So for those of you who don't know, Dean Withers is that guy who likes to, well, first, among things, debate Charlie Kirk. He in fact created a whole tour to follow. This is it. At the end of the day, he's with Charlie Kirk. They are, they're a package deal. In fact, I do have the video of Charlie Kirk praising him. And predicting, rightfully, that he would go conservative, which is what it seems is happening right now. But yeah, no. In particular, in addition to being smug, he often used these really straw-manny arguments and and again, the discovery was he came from the MAGA world. Okay, that isn't shocking at all. That actually tells me everything I know about him. And there were pictures of him in a MAGA hat from as recently as 2021. Then he got called out for using the N-word, which again, of course, Charlie Kirk defended. Then he pivoted and he started debating right-wingers. He did Jubilee. I guess that was his big sort of career turning point. And so he kind of had this I guess he was a born again liberal, he was MAGA, and his whole shtick was I know how they think, so I can debate them. lots and lots of people, especially people of color for years and other marginalized groups, where his content would platform these haters. And yes, he would always end, the video would always end with him having the upper hand, but the middle part of the video was them saying a lot of slurs and things like that, and people often had always called him out on his content, actually. In any event, when he found out Charlie Kirk died, he cried, and then in the same live stream, he said, if you're going to make this about left or right, you're going to push me to the right. To which people are like, oh, we think you were kind of always there. Like, and again, it's important to note the rage bait of right-wingers who tune in to debate him is his audience to a certain extent, which is why he was comfortable going on tour. He'll walk into a room with Charlie Kirk confident that he can walk out safely from a room full of Charlie Kirk fans, because at the end of the day, he looks right. But so people are debating why he cried. Was it because? That at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk was really just a sparring partner and a friend to him? Was it because he is on the opposite side, but political violence is political violence, and like as other people have pointed out, like that could have been me, and that is a valid, like people on the left who are saying that could have been me. I get that, but he didn't say that. Oh, and then the whole for entertainment and it doesn't change hearts and minds is exactly, I feel like I was just talking about this last night, why I stopped watching the Week in Review with Bill Radke on KUOW. I'm just about completely done with public radio. I am about as excited as any Republican or right-winger that they've been defunded because of where they are right now. After they went on and on and on about Spencer Cox, and he said some pretty wild things in his debate, but they just kind of cherry-picked things that made him sound measured and then presented him on NPR as like the measured voice of reason we need right now, and I was done. And that was the national NPR. But Bill Radke, I stopped watching. He does a regular weekday show, and then on Fridays he does a weekend show, a weekend review show. I like it because Erica C. Barnett from Publicola is often on it. The format is typically he has two left-wingers. He presents himself as more sort of centrist and just the host, and then a right-winger. They often joke that the right-winger is behind enemy lines and blah, blah, blah. But he always only ever just tosses them softball questions and platforms them. He lets them kind of say whatever they want, and then, yes, the liberal guests will push back on it, but it's still them just saying whatever they want. About a year ago, what I noticed is Bill would pivot week after week after week to like, so hey. And he's totally like public radio, like casual, we're all just chatting here. Well, and again, they all snooze, they all jokes. It all just served to normalize a lot of this rhetoric. But specifically, he wanted to talk about trans athletes week after week after week. And depending on how right-wing the person is, sometimes actually the right-winger surprised me with their perspective. But more often than not, it really is just an opportunity to platform someone to say whatever easily debunked non-scientific nonsense they heard, and then him, the host, and the two other guests being however well-intentioned as liberal allies, completely unprepared, because they're not once has he ever had a trans person on. I guess let me put that way. Not once, and he does it week after week after week after week after week. So at some point, all that tells me he's doing is profiting off of, because he gets his paycheck off of other people's suffering, and I'm done supporting it. So fuck you, Bill Radke, and definitely fuck you, Dean Winters, but I've always said that. But yeah, no, like I said, Dean Winters, again, he likes to get them in these like grammar loopholes, and that's exactly what they think the left is, and he never represented. I don't use pronouns. By the way, you use pronouns too. That was one of that's a perfect example. He's like, okay. They were like, I don't use pronouns. He's like, oh, you don't use pronouns? Okay. How about you go the rest of this without using any pronouns? And then they were like, okay, you. And he's like, use a pronoun. And then he pulls up a chart of what pronouns are. And I get that these people, the people who say I don't use pronouns, literally don't know what a pronoun is. But there's a way to educate them that is not the way he's doing it. And again, he's using my identity for his smugness to try and make someone feel small, but that's never going to change their heart or mind, and that was never his point. All he wants is a viral clip, and apparently he's making a lot of money off of this. But yeah, no, my take is he's just going to go full Tin Pool. Like at some point, he has alienated enough of the left, mostly by refusing to listen to them for during valid criticism, that he's just going to pivot to the right. And Charlie Kirk predicted it. Oh yeah, in addition to being ex-MAGA and using like Morgan Wallen, that's the other thing that I wish I had known from the beginning. I would never even entertained it for half a second. Like Morgan Wallen, using the N-word was the start of his career. That's how he became famous, and he capitalized on that. He also claimed to be indigenous at some point, which turned out to be not true. But yeah, people are just straight up calling him a grifter now, and we'll see. And pointing out, he cries for people who look like him, but everyone else is an abstraction. And then in my mind, I'm like, he cries because he need Mr. K. That was his meal ticket. Being the guy that was that guy's most hated guy was his identity. Oh, but then back to that whole who. You good? My dog's honking. You good, bro? You can drink some water. Okay, I think he's okay. All right, I'm going to play the video and then I'll play some more music. If I can find the right one.
Large fries and then
Nope, not that one. That's not even a video.
There was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil.
Oh. Okay.
George Zimmerman was hunted at night by Trayvon Martin at 2 a.m. and the stand your ground law allows you to stand your ground up against people that wish you harm. George Zimmerman was... Don't make that line be one between the left and right. Because if you do make that line fall between the left and right, I will side with the right.
No one's surprised, bro.
This is not about party lines. So don't fucking make it about party lines. The kid Dean, there's a big internet thing about him. They're trying to cancel him because he said the N-word when he was a kid. I actually want to come to his defense. I haven't said this publicly. Again, I thought he was actually a really sweet kid when I met him. I think it's totally wrong. I don't care if you said the N-word when you're 14, 15, 16 years old. It's called being a kid. You do stupid dumb stuff.
Of course you
A lot
don't.
of people trying to cancel Dean. I think it's totally wrong. And liberals trying to cancel the conservatives. So I just want to put that in there. I think we have to be very principled about it. And he's getting all these people that are trying to disassociate. Very smart kid. I actually think Dean is more likely to one day become more conservative because he's intellectually honest. I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
This is what he means
When
by
blacks
intellectually
in America
honest.
did not have the same rights they had today. They were less murderous. There was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? A certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. Oh, wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining day. Remember what BLM stands for? Burn, loot, and murder. Yeah, DEI stands for one of the biggest. Earn it, just so we're clear.
Can we also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement?
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s. The disappearance of the black father has been the number one driver of black poverty in this country. We at least agree that black dads not being around is a bad thing.
Anyone's father not being around is a bad. Starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs. Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem. Why are so many blacks committing murders outside of their population? So we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. Food stamps, subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that is spent on the Great Society, and yet Black America is poor, more murderous, more dangerous.
Part of
what does equity mean?
is
you mean taking from
allowed.
other people?
Okay, obviously, I'm not going to fact check that entire video, but like just the number of the types and number of claims that people are saying. Again, what I don't know what you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't. These are just. Oh, we're going to get to that. Now's not the time. I guess is that now's not the time. Typically, when someone dies, that is absolutely the time to highlight all their words and actions. Why is now not the time? I'm confused. Oh, and then this one's kind of concerning me. This just sort of trend of like black content creators being like, this is why I don't like liberals or neoliberals. This is back to the Dean Withers thing. Is he either? Like, again, was he ever either? And what do you? I guess my other question is, what are y'all calling yourselves now? And I don't call myself liberal. Actually, I don't call myself liberal. I say left of left, far left, but not liberal actually. So yeah, no, I guess that's fine. Yeah, and and I already played the video of JD Vance saying they said he said this and he never said this, and then just exactly quote for quote verbatim. No, he said exactly that. So a common response on social media that I'm seeing is, well, if you were upset by the graphic video, why weren't you upset by the graphic video of kids in Gaza? And I get that. One, I think we all know, because lots of people haven't seen those videos because they're suppressed. And for me, it's not about a graphic video. It's not about an emotional appeal like, oh my gosh, I saw that and that's so shocking. To me, I don't need a visual to feel empathy. So for instance, one of the speakers at the Save Our Science rally this weekend was talking about, and I remember this, the National Institute of Health sounding the alarm that there were studies with seemingly effective drugs that were halfway through clinical trials that if they stopped, even if they got their funding back, they would not just be able to readmit those people back into the programs that were, and again, we're talking about things like really aggressive forms of brain cancer. And they did, and they just took that money. And then, see, like I said, even if at some future point they get that money, whoever the institution gets that funding again, those patients, they're not going to readmit them because that's not how clinical trials work. You can't have someone who started taking the drug, stopped it, and then started again, because that's not going to prove the efficacy of the drug. They're going to have to start with all new people. And these people, they can't give the drug because it's not ready for the market yet. They were part of the trial, but now I can't explain it. But the point being, I have tons of sympathy and empathy for them, and they're completely, again, the fact that someone's an abstraction to you shouldn't even be the reason why you can't feel sympathy or empathy for them. Like, what are we doing on all sides? Like, if you didn't see it, it doesn't, I don't know. But I also do understand that, like, yeah, no, for many and often. All right, we are featuring new heart beeps off of Come Together, the record I opened yesterday. I'm very excited. Heartbeeps are one of my favorite bands, but to date, they had only put out one record in 1 7-inch, and now I own their second. Boop, boop. Charlie Kirk, I saw a really just interesting explainer, and again, I actually know this just came from a social media person. I didn't even fact check anything. Oh, he visited Korea and Japan, and then he commented on Korea just 2 days before his death. Right-wing Korean youth group holds memorial event for Charlie Kirk. But you know, again, I heard an interesting analysis of why that is. I don't feel like any of it is my place to say. It's not really culture, but this individual who I'm assuming was Korean, just talking about the history of nationalism in that country, which he particularly praised. They use the phrase "praise kink." I'm not involved. I'm just saying that they basically they're saying, if you're wondering like what is this, like I'm hearing like Charlie Kirk was popular in Korea. Well, yeah, he just went there and praised them, and so yeah, no, you may be hearing like celebration. Have I showed the back cover? I love that. Playing that as an arm tattoo. Again, SD. I wonder if it's the same artist. Oh, Artwork Freak City. It is. Boop boop. I'm gonna play one more. Alright, we're gonna listen to one more video, and then I have we actually just have a smaller stack of notes we did in. Maybe another mini episode, quickie episode. I really like the newer theme of fact check versus just intrusive thoughts, which is just like, and then just let myself ramble. I feel like that might have. I was surprised I was able to do a shorter episode with that format, but nonetheless, I don't think it's.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated.
Sorry, this is the Reverend Dr. Howard John Wellesley.
America at half staff, calling this nation top.
Sorry, I'm gonna play it from the beginning because.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated, but I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half staff, calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land, and hearing people with selective rage who are mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home. Tell abortion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live. I am overwhelmed. Charlie Kirk.
And again, is that acceptable? Should he be fired for that? Like what? Like I everything that he said was real and fire as far as I'm concerned. But yeah. This is Noise Addict off of 10,000 Kids with Guitars. This is Waves of Love. Oh my God. Waves of Love followed by I Wish I Was Him off of 10,000 Kids with Guitars.
I don't think that's very pretty, do you? I think they should all just get on their boards and ride out to sea where they got no troubles. It doesn't make sense, does it? Then again, nothing in this world does. You're as good as good could be. You rode the waves of my heart. You make me see what you could be. Built me like a obstacle. Never got a chance to breathe. You took my heart away from me. Took me everything you do. Couldn't care about waiting here for you.
Yeah, this is unconfirmed rumor. I got this from social media. I have no verification whatsoever. South Korean Hyundai LG workers welcomed back with people at the airport celebrating their arrival, media fanfare. Just as a reminder, so initially the administration wanted to transport them from their facility where they were being held to the airport in shackles and handcuffs, which was vetoed. The administration then reversed, realizing that these were literally the instructions are in Korean. And again, all of this is unconfirmed, but it all sounds plausible. They reversed and invited all the people to stay. Apparently, one person stayed, but the only reason they stayed was to pack. One of all the people who were offered a chance to stay, only one person did, but it was only so they could pack, and they're still leaving. However, all the highly skilled technical workers who were accidentally raided. And they did, one of the things that the government did fight for was to have their records, I guess basically expunged or whatever you call it, so that they will have no restrictions or no indication that they ever had any, the raid, the detention, that will just not be on their records. Apparently, again, this is all unconfirmed. I'm getting this from a social media post that I wasn't able to fact check. Some of it I tried to, and then some of it, and then what was the other piece of that? Oh yeah, well I had previously reported that it came from Trump himself, that the reversal, but I can't prove that.
All I can do is sit here and pray. One day we'll be
like I said, I can't prove that the instructions were in Korean. That feels like the kind of detail you add just to like.
No pressures on us from the outside, even no pressures on us from the outside, even no pressures on us from the outside, even no pressures. I don't think so. I just take every day as a lesson, something to learn, but nowhere to go.
Yeah, I don't know if they were welcomed back with media fanfare, but why not? feel like there's one more detail, and like my brain is itchy because I don't want to move on yet. Records expunged. Oh, which again, I guess, which means maybe some of them may return, but I guess on their own terms. But Hyundai is also saying they might just not build the factory; they might just be done. Like that's, yeah, this has had a significant impact on relations. All right, moving on. Oh, yeah, those Waves You Love I didn't play. I wish I was him.
This song's called I Wish I Was Him. I'm just playing an acoustic. It's about everyone sucking up to Evan Dando. It may sound stupid when I say it out loud, like I'm just jealous of his silver.
Oh,
He looks
I knew it was worth remembering. That woman who bragged that she got 425 people rated by ICE. She was like dancing in her car. Where is she now? Is she bragging now? Like, she seemed at some point, I guess someone had tracked her down, and she seemed surprised that most of the people that were Korean. She didn't, and then I think once it really did become like, no, this is actually national, like the State Department's involved, and this is not good, and this is not something to be proud of. You got highly skilled workers who were here legally detained, and now they're leaving, and now it's become a thing. I wonder if she's still proud of herself. I wonder if she still thinks it's funny. I wonder if she's still proud of the video she instead of taking credit. I'm assuming she took it down, but it's too late. It's already all over the internet. All right, I hope. Okay, this last one that just like this woman's face, but like anti-intellectualism. That someone did that. Someone really did that and thought that was okay. She added the anti-intellectualism post, but I think you can see where that is. Okay. So I don't know what you see, but I'm going to give you a second to see, and then I'll read. I'm going to give you a second to take a look, and then I'll read the post. So, the post from POL News Network /POL /News Network, quote unquote, said, "This is the future that liberals want." Again, I'll show you the picture. This is the future that liberals want. And then Max Amakupa responded, religious freedom, kicky daytime drag looks, and a robust public transportation system, sign me the fuck up. But again, what I want to point out is the original person, they just saw something and through their own lens judged all of it and assumed, rightfully, that everyone that they posted out to would as well. That they all openly and within their sphere acceptably operate on appearances. We are afraid and horrified by this. And this, again, in my world, this is just perfectly, would be a perfectly normal thing. That individual sits a lot like how I sit when I'm wearing a skirt or a dress, and especially a shorter one. I'm like, I probably should do a little bit better. But that's fine. What I see are two people minding their own fucking business. Again, working public transportation, working infrastructure. Oh, they have bags. Oh my gosh. Specifically, they have bags, and that's... Yeah, no, that's not even the context. That the whole at some point that's going to be cropped out, because that won't be, the context will be, at some point that's going to be cropped out. Oh no, it won't, because they need to show the leg, because that shows the whole. Anyway, oh, and the bags are probably like they're okay. Anyway, But yeah, in my world. Yeah, no, that would be a perfectly normal thing to see on the light rail, are people who are completely incongruous sitting next to each other and not bothering each other at all. In their world, these people sitting next to each other and not bothering each other is the problem. Though, if it were my live stream, and I know this because they say this over and over and over, especially when I'm protesting for Gaza, you know they want you dead, right? And I'm like, every single time, I'm like, I will not. I understand that those generalizations will convince someone, because they also, like you, clearly don't know any Muslim people, but it won't convince me, because I actually have Muslim friends. So I know what they think of me, because we've discussed it. Just like they will insist, well, not in that conversation, because in that conversation they're trying to convince me, they're trying to do a Oppression Olympics on me and convince me someone else doesn't like me, as if they were on my side, but they're not, because then the flip side argument is, what percentage of churches in America do you think are affirming? The answer is actually more than 50%. So Christians are the majority of people in America. They're about 60%. And so, yeah, no, if they're insisting they hate you over there, what percentage of Christians do you think are affirming, and what percentage do you not? Right, a little more frontline assembly, though I now feel like I missed it. I think they already played. But I have to look it up. This is, oh my gosh, my dog is just, he's just got some barking, hacking thing. I don't know what we're listening to. Listen, frontline assembly. Okay, wow, here's me promoting Apple products 2 days in a row, apparently. Last night I was talking about how apparently the new earpods do like instantaneous translation, and apparently uses AI, and I hate AI and I hate Apple, but of all the uses, I think there are legitimate uses of AI and illegitimate uses of AI. Diaper cat videos is a completely illegitimate use of AI, but instantaneous translation to allow people to connect in real time is a legitimate use. Also, they apparently have a heart rate monitor, which is just a really unique I was like, oh, of course you can, yeah, because there's like, yeah, of course you could do that. Why didn't anyone else think of it? Yeah, why didn't anyone else think of it? And when will that filter down to other products that aren't Apple products? But okay, 2 days in a row, Pirate Princess Jessica, someone I follow, a user I follow, has been talking about how they stopped using Spotify. So this is like Apple versus Spotify. This is why I'm siding with Apple this time, because fuck Spotify every single time. That rap feature is not enough. I tried it for a year and I was like, oh. I was like, the moment I understood what rap is, I was like, so the selling point is they sell your own data back to you. But then I kind of get it. I mean, my friend posts their like iceberg video or picture every month. In any event, Pirate Princess Jessica talking about using an old iPod instead of Spotify and how much they're enjoying it. I actually, when on the occasions, like I still have a Palm Pilot somewhere, and when I go through and like, I love going, I'm like, oh my god, this is what menu scrolling was like in 2004. It's both infuriating, but also, oh shit, every single one of the tracks on this is featuring another artist. I didn't catch that. In the past, I've said the problem isn't Apple, but Apple users. It's both. At this point, Apple is an enabler. Seeing Tim Cook sit with Donald Trump and all that, fuck Apple as a corporation, but also fuck their users. And I mean that. And I understand, yeah, unfollow, unlike, unsubscribe. I understand Apple users make up, what, like 84% of all phone users. Fuck Apple users because all of y'all are snobs. And I can prove it because you think you're better. You think your phone is better. It's not. And that's the funny part. But you picked branding over and yeah, all of y'all are a bunch of like performative Labubu Starbucks drinkers. Like, yeah, no, and you think that makes you better, which is what's fucking wild. Basic bitches. Apple users are basic bitches. I said it. Unless you had an iPhone 12. If you had an iPhone 12, you're awesome. Everyone else is a basic bitch. What are we talking about? I'm going to play one more out because I'm curious. Like, I didn't realize, like, each one of these tracks features a different feature artist. Duke, come here. Jump up. Yeah. Jump the fuck up. You can do it. We'll back up if you need more. I'm not picking you up. That might have just worked. Oh. I talked about how I have my noisemakers back. We're a happy family. What are we talking about? I have no idea what we're listening to, but I'll let you know in a minute. We're doing this again. Blatantly making fun of people's accents. So I've talked about him. I was just talking about him because he does all kinds of great videos. Oh no, I'm sorry, blatantly making fun of someone's accent while also claiming that you love them. This is exactly like making fun of non-binary people's names while also trying to claim the cachet of like, I have all these non-binary friends and listen to how weird their names are. But they're like, what the fuck kind of sheep is this? Like, notice you know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But I didn't do an accent. You can do his delivery. What the fuck kind of sheep is this? Without doing an accent. Like, I don't know how to describe it. And I have echolalia, so I have a strong, self-diagnosed. Speaking of self-diagnosis, strong urge to repeat things, including accents, but I learned better and don't. I mentioned I used the example of what the fuck kind of sheep is this only because I discovered that there are rarely but occasionally naturally occurring single horned sheep or unicorn sheep. Also rare 3-horned sheep, but 4 to 6 horned sheep are fairly common. Like Jacob sheep is a whole just breed of sheep that has 4 horns, and I'm like, okay. Science is fun, kids. Oh, okay. This is a weird new trend of, I don't know if it is a new trend. I'm noticing it. Influencers rating their influencer box while acknowledging you can't have this. This is just something sent to me. But specifically being like, look at the graphics on the box. And it's like, and then, the most recent one, I think I had previously talked about, the Y2K2K box. Mostly it makes me mad just because everything, I'm like, I own this record. Like, this is exactly a compilation that Urban Outfitters sold like 10 years, 15 years ago, but they've repackaged it, and yes, I get the branding, Y2K25, so it's 25 years since Y2K. It's 25 years since Y2K. So that, first of all, that. But second of all, these influencers rating these boxes, look at the detail. And the boxes are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, well, they have to be bigger because the collections get bigger and bigger. And then the influencer goes through all the stuff. But what they don't ever mention in the video is for you to get all that stuff, you would have to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Oh, I guess that's just a sin. Never mind. Look at all this stuff for you to buy. Yeah, no, I guess that's why people are watching. But no matter how much of that stuff you buy, you don't get the box. And it's weird just how often they... Well, I guess obviously you're going to start with the box. Oh, I guess that's my point. My point is I don't watch influencer videos, unboxing videos past the first few minutes, and all they talk about in the first few minutes is the box. And I'm like, but your viewers will never have access to that. That is a special box created... Just, I don't know. Anyway, but I know we all got to fill content, so who knows what what did I talk about for the first 10 minutes of iVideo? So that we played off of the PP and Doo-Doo. I'm sorry, Poo Poo Pee Pee split cover. It's limited to 182. Okay, I need to be careful with this because this shit's rare. Okay. Oof. I should have bought 2 copies. I didn't even catch that. Oh, but I'm not doing that anymore. I originally was going to do a buy nothing year. That ended. In fact, I have some unboxings. This came from an unboxing I did last night. And actually, this isn't what I wanted to play. Alright, whatever this is what I'm playing. It's not all Blink, or maybe it is. Okay. If it's all Blink 182 covers, a remarkably high number of them I don't recognize, but I'm on the wrong side, and that's okay. This is Always As Told by Goalkeeper. Oh, that was the end of Always. Good. Because I just wanted to flip the record anyway. That works out. I like the back cover too. I like that dog. I would get that dog tattooed. That like punk spiked dog. If I Miss You, performed by Suck Brick Kid. I think. Let's find out. Miss you. I love that. Alright, an East Asian creator versus Pat McGrath. Actually, there are a few things to talk about. I'm going to let the song play out first. I'm trying to figure out which version you can hear the drums better. No, okay, I think that sounds better. You can tell that what Travis Barker of Blink-182, obviously commonly considered one of the greatest drummers, living drummers in the world. I question that strongly. He's one of the hardest working drummers, session drummers. He'll show up anywhere for anything for a couple of bucks. I'll give him that. And he's a Kardashian. I'm not the hugest fan, but of him in particular. Yeah, if he left Blink-182 and they went on tour, that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. I'm just saying. And my point being, you can tell, I don't think you can fully hear it. This sounds really trebly in my headphones. How much the drummer is like making you know Travis Barker is the only talented drummer in the world. Like, it's actually kind of wild. That was obviously a cover of Missing You by Blink-182. And then this is Violence, cover or performed by Molly O'Malley, but this is not a Blink-182 cover, is it? I mean, or is it a cover at all? Like, I'm trying to understand the premise of this record. But let's get back to the storytelling. I only have a few more notes. Thanks for joining me in this ongoing adventure. I really do like this new format of like doing the fact checking, and that's sort of the premise. I don't know if this name will stick. like I said, originally the title was everything you just said is easily Googleable and clearly, demonstrably, factually incorrect. I probably edit that down just a little bit too. Everything you just said is easily Googleable and false, or what I and wrong, or whatever I put in the title. But yeah, but I think just having a title that just prompts me to just word vomit and say whatever I want is maybe not the best idea, but a prompt that invites me to do my due diligence, remind myself to do my due diligence, I'm down with that. But also, everything's totally fine. From the producers of all those shows who I will say all are on hiatus. Anyone can come back at any time. I just posted 2 new episodes of No Good News. I believe they're episodes 53 and 54, or 54 or 55. But that show is, I would say, canceled. A show entirely devoted to how depressing the news is just felt like it got a bit heavy. So then everything's totally fine. It's kind of a more lighthearted mix, and then Hive of Scum and Villainy, where I was like going to just go straight into social media. I'm only going to do social media. I won't do hard news, but that's really hard. And then I was going to do 2 different shows a night, one all social media, but even it's hard to separate what is social media and what is from the news, and actually it goes back and forth. And so this format, I'm not rambling, you're rambling. I'm not weaving at all, officer. What are you talking about? So it seems, again, we're talking about a content creator. I said East Asian. I'm assuming she's East Asian because her topic was East Asian representation. And let's put a pin in that because that's a little bit important, because mostly black TikTok came for her. There's a meme, speaking of all the memes, and the meme that right-wingers refuse to Google anything. Do they know that Sundar Pichai was at the inauguration? Do they? All right, we're playing more Sales. This is the random record I was sent by Smart Punks. I don't know what song this is. But I might be able to tell you what Frontline Assembly song. Nope. This is Sales, but I don't know what song we're listening to off of the band is called Sales, off of Forever and Ever. But I feel that the meme that it's always the meme that I've seen a few times recently, including promoted by people of color content creators, it's always white people on the front lines. I feel like that's absolutely white supremacy, and I feel like it's in the same way they want to label all activism as cringy. Labeling, it's always white people at the front lines of it. First of all, that is a twofold propaganda. One, they're trying to convince people of color, that people of color don't protest discrimination against people of color, and they're trying to convince them that white people are on the front lines of that, both of which is absolutely demonstrably untrue bullshit. Bullshit? 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 Now, that being said, there have always been white allies, genuine and legitimate ones. And I appreciate Ebony Warrior. I didn't even know who he was talking about, but back to Dean Withers and all that, talking about accomplices versus allies. Allies think they got the badge once and then they get to wear it for the rest of their life. But an accomplice is there with you when it's set it off time, and when you got it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to play one more by Sales. But I also want to say, I'm kind of tying this all together. The fact that the algorithm consistently promotes white content creators defending us rather than our own content, not even defending ourselves, because I don't think I need being defended, but I think that in and of itself creates a confirmation bias. And again, as we're discovering, some of those aren't even real allies. They're just profiting content creators. They're as bad as anyone else they're as bad as a blaxploitation producer who won't go down to the set and will brag to their friends about how they got some N-words making a movie for them that they'll make money off of, and they will. Oh, I'm sorry. I got so off. I got so off topic. If it came down to this individual versus Pat McGrath, a professional makeup artist, they were complaining about East Asian representation, and the criticism that came for them. I am actually. It really did start to feel like, and again, I'm gonna get myself canceled this episode. Of course, I don't actually believe canceling is a real thing. I'm 100% joking. But at the very least, I am no longer invited to the cookout, and I probably wasn't anyway, but definitely not now. But it does feel like the response was any criticism of Pat McGrath is automatically racist, and disregarding that this is coming from another community of color. And the community of color had said, as far as I know, the individual, not the whole community, the individual, because again, they don't speak for a whole community, and neither do I, said nothing about Pat McGrath or Pat McGrath's race. All they said was, I'm looking at these videos and I am not seeing accurate representation. And they specifically talked about monolids and like all those things I'm not going to get into. But I understand why people rush to Pat McGrath's defense. And so, I think there was a missed opportunity to listen to someone about how their own culture, aligned culture, We're going to play something off the Barbie soundtrack. This is Sam Smith with Man I Am. Probably. Let's find out. Yes! When I hit it right on the first try. Oh. Yep, no, yep. Yep.
This one is for the boys with your greased up and heavy metal toys. So beefed up you can't get through the door. It's your time to break through. Batman to the rescue.
Snoop Dogg has lost 500,000 followers after Trump's crypto ball. No words or notes on how many followers since his most recent comments that should no longer be surprising given the path he has chosen and route he has taken. According to KNKX, I don't know why. I'm like, they are an NPR station, but they mostly play jazz, so they're off the cook. KUOW, you're on my shit list, but KNKX is still okay for now, but we'll see. According to KNKX, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters will reunite. For Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, I'm not kidding. They're currently rehearsing on Broadway. I won't be there. I will not be seeing Little Shop of Horrors this year. There's no plan for me to get there before December or whatever when that show is closing, and I don't see myself making it to New York for Waiting for Godot. But if you're there, you can see Keanu and Alex Winters. And people are surprised that we weren't all entirely racist and sexist and homophobic and whatnot, like in the 80s and 90s when I know we weren't. Like some of us were already fighting that shit. But people were incredibly shocked that in a Bill and Ted video game from 1991, and again, the same. I swear, I hate to say it, but this younger generation doesn't even know like what they have already bought into the narrative of racism is whatever I say it is. Like they've missed the thread of the plot, and I hate to say that because I advocate for young people so often. But anyway, but this like, whoa, Bill and Ted. I have to find it. I'm kind of losing my shit right now over this screenshot from a 1991 Bill and Ted NES video game. Dude, the way that we have treated Native Americans is most non-triumphant. A, who remembers this game, and B, yeah, I was taught in high school in the 90s about Christopher Columbus, like, stringing pregnant women up and gutting them just out of curiosity for what would fall out. That is a real fact that you can absolutely verify and fact check as we move up on Indigenous Peoples Day. As it is legally called in my city and state, and has been for a long time. But yeah, we got called politically correct. We got called social justice warriors, which I'd actually forgotten about, except for a social media post. We got called things that you wouldn't even remember to fight for your right. Anyway, but yeah, no, Bill and Ted video game way back in the 90s. Shockingly, not everyone believed that some of us knew even back then that the history we're being taught is bullshit and that most of the heroes we're taught are garbage. That is if it's news to you, that it wasn't news to us then. Okay, good. Oof, I wish I had something. Oh, I almost kind of want to play Avenue Q. I am going to play. I could go the other way and grab Fraggle Rock, and I know I have something Muppet, but not up here. Oh, I could go Leftover Crack with. Okay. I'll let you know in a moment when. We'll all find out in a moment when I'm going to play. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. We got some Leftover Crack, and actually, I just verified, and it turns out there ain't no such thing as Leftover Crack. This is Muppet Namblin. When it gets late in the episode, I can't even get it to play. I think. All right, we'll see. This is something by Leftover Crack off of the F side, the E sides and the F sides. Oh, I think I'm on the wrong side. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, but actually, I think it might. Okay, we'll find out. I think this is Muppet Namblin featuring the Distillers. History lesson part 2. This has gone viral before and is definitely not AI. And people are like, this is AI. And I'm like, really? Do you not know? Like, can you literally not spot how AI makes everything smoother, not fuzzier and blurrier like the 80s? It is a real Sesame Street episode from 1988 where a character named Ronald Grump threatens to evict Elmo and the Sesame Street characters to build a high-rise in a boutique. I'm sorry, I'm yelling, but yeah, sometimes you don't need to yell. You can just turn the record off or wait till it ends. That was Leftover Crack off of the E sides and the F sides with So You Want to Be a Cop, Look Who's Talking Now, and Muppet Namblin featuring the Distillers. This is Baby Punchers, followed by And Out Come the N-Bombs, possibly followed by World War IV. We'll find out. I mean both the song and the actual thing. We'll find out. Hegseth, I missed this in the politics section. Hegseth is going after grooming standards because he's clean shaven, but you got tattoos, bro, and like anyone in the military should be. Yeah, no. The next person after Hegseth will go after tattoos, or the next, like it's. They focus so much on appearance. They've made it clear over and over and over. It's one of the most important things to them. Appearances are one of the most important things to them. I'm sorry, yeah, no. There's actually like a pop-up that is clearly a practical effect of the high-rise. And a boutique specifically where Sesame, they're like, we don't see where Sesame Street is on this. And he's like, it will be replaced by a boutique called If You Have to Ask, You Can't Afford It. Ronald Grump is played by Joe Pesci. After the Sesame Street characters appeal to him, he says, one thing I hate is cheap sympathy, and it sounds exactly like, and this is from 1988, so we're talking about going on 40 years ago. The we hate sympathy, we hate empathy, we hate
The New World Order reeks of dying empire odor, and changing the channel won't make that go away. As the veneer of
Hello, Jello Biafra.
as the world's downsized until it explodes, as the shanty towns piled behind the malls become visible, as the savages on the other side of the
become
wall
visible.
break through, as everybody from gun-crazy militias to anti-immigrant Nazis to fundamentalist child-raping Christians to gangster rappers to community activists to working
But again, I don't remember that one. I was like, wait, Elmo wasn't on Sesame Street in 1980. Even I was like ready to start fact-checking this. Yeah, he was. Like Tickle Me Elmo was the 90s. Like, yeah, Elmo to me is a new character, but I realize in my mind, new still means anything after 1985. Back to the Future Part 2 and 3, new. Kinda true. This is sports news, but I'm not particularly go sports ball. I haven't said that about yeah. And also, it's interesting how much sports has been integrated into other things. We already talked about the NFL. Yeah, no, it's all. Yeah. This is World War III, World War IV. Ken Rosenthal, a on-air commentator, knocks over a cameraman, doesn't help them up, ends up apologizing, but also kind of making excuses, one of those not good apologies. Sorry, but I was live on the air. I think the criticism you're receiving is valid, though. For the second night in a row, we're talking about octopi, octopuses, octopi, KNKX. There's also, according to KNKX, the latest octopus research. They use all their arms equally. They literally wanted to see, like, do they use different arms in different ways or for different things. They did discover, probably not surprisingly, that the forward-facing arms they use more to explore things, and the rear-facing arms they use more for mobility. But they actually don't discriminate, and they can use all their arms in all their ways, and all their arms are they're not their arms aren't specialized. I guess that's that was the result of the study, is that the result of the study is that while they may use some of their arms in different ways, they can use all of their arms in all of the ways. Am I playing this out? This is Life Causes Cancer. Leftover crack. And again, I was talking about baby octopi being harvested for lab experiments. And people were like, don't do that. And I was like, I mean, I am against animal testing, but I'm also like, I need to know more. There's a Portland-themed bar in Tokyo. It's called like Portland Brewery or something. It's like there is a Portland-themed bar in Tokyo. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but also, again, it just makes me want to go to Tokyo even more and live there forever. But I don't think it's that easy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being you. Boop, boop. Thanks for doing everything you can to make this world a better place. And if you didn't today, tomorrow's another day. To make the world a better place, to do what you can on your self-improvement plan, all of it. To clean something in your house that you have been ignoring, tomorrow's another day. I should have bought the goblets that match these because Costco doesn't sell them anymore. So a social media post about a bartender being called at 3 a.m., which, why did you even respond? Like first of all, that's the proof you were drunk. And anyway, bartender being called at 3 a.m., asked to come in, said no. I wouldn't necessarily admit to a boss, but again, it's 3 a.m. and you're already drunk, and you're saying, I've had a few drinks. I don't want to come into work hungover. To which the boss says, this, again, I don't know if this is a true story or not. This is absolutely unverified. This is how we're ending-ish. This is just an entertaining social media post, and I'm going to go ahead and say some of these details are so delicious that tells me it's probably fake. This is more just like an experiment in social media, but I'm going to read it exactly as it was presented This is The Internet is for Porn off of the Avenue Q soundtrack. Followed by Mixtape, followed by I'm Not Wearing Any Underwear Today. That is not where we're at, Chief.
Finally, I get to teach a whole lesson all by myself. And I'm gonna teach something relevant, something modern. The internet. Oh, the internet is really, really great.
For porn.
I've got a fast connection, so I don't have to wait. Huh? There's always some new site. I browse all day and night. It's like I'm surfing at the speed of light. Trekkie! What are you doing?
And as someone who used the BBS system, I would say not only porn, but pirating music and pirating things and porn is what the proliferation of computers. Yeah. So, you think of like who the earliest tech bros were. Yeah.
From your own desktop, you can research, browse, and shop until you've had enough and you're ready to stop. Trekkie. No. Trekkie. That's gross. You're a pervert.
Sticks and
No,
stones.
really. You're a
Yeah,
pervert.
you're sex. You're not sex positive, Kate Monster.
What?
You have no idea. Ready, Marvel people?
Ready!
Ready?
Ready.
Let me hear it.
Internet is for porn. Sorry, Kate. Internet is for porn. I masturbate.
All these guys I'm sitting there flies for
Porn, porn.
The internet is not for porn. Hold on a second. Now, I happen to know for a fact that you, Rob, check your portfolio and trade stocks online.
That's correct.
And Brian, you buy things on Amazon.com.
Sure.
And Gary, you keep selling your possessions on eBay.
Yes, I do.
And Princeton, you sent me that sweet online birthday card.
True.
Oh, but Kate, what you think he do after?
Yeah.
Ew!
The internet is for porn.
Gross!
The internet is for porn.
I hate porn.
Grab your dick and double-click the
Porn, porn, porn.
I hate men.
Porn,
I hate the internet.
Internet is for porn.
I've never seen Avenue Q. I missed it all the times I lived in New York, and I could have requested it as like, hey, can we do that? And I didn't because I just thought it would play forever because I don't get how.
But does he like me, like me? Like
But I'm glad I saw
like
Mean Girls the musical.
him? Will we be friends or something more? I think he's interested, but I'm not sure.
This mixtape.
Lynn?
Hi, Kate.
Princeton? Hi.
Hi. Listen, I was going through my CDs yesterday.
Okay, so no, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of a story, and I'll finish the story, and that'll be probably the end of the episode. Maybe one or two more stories. Okay, bartender called by their boss at 3 a.m., which is already, I'm like, this is real? Like, and you responded, and anyway.
Made a mixtape.
And they had a whole back and forth, like, none of this feels real. You need to come in. No, I'm drunk. You're not a team player. No, wait, no. Team player. I'm a little drunk. I've been out with my mates. Again, I'm assuming this happened somewhere in Britain or whatever. How dare you get drunk? You need to be on call at all times. I'm a fucking bartender. What are you talking about? How dare I get drunk? And also, not them, but other people in the comments being like, unless you pay someone, they don't need to be on call at all times. What are you talking about? Anyway, they were like, be a team player, the boss. The employee was like, no, you do it.
You might want to not go in there for a while.
Oh,
The boss said, well, when you come in, we're going to talk about your attitude. And the bartender said, everyone's hiring right now, I quit. Which is 150% valid.
my heart
Um,
will go on. I love Titanic.
It was all right.
Me too.
Yesterday.
Good.
They're all right.
From the Russia concert.
Oh, great. Through the years, it's been a long
An employee was fired from Ralph Lauren's Polo Club in New York. This is speaking of, like, my heart will go on. Leo DiCaprio. This is where celebrities hang out. Again, it's owned by Ralph Lauren. It's called the Polo Club in New York. It's like a fine dining. It's like the expensive, it's like the shit.
Oh,
Oh, and
yes.
what are you doing tonight?
Grading term papers. But it's kindergarten, so they're very short. Why?
Well, everyone's going to hear the singer at the Around the Clock Cafe. Do you want to go with me?
Like a date?
Sure, a date. It'll be a blast.
I'd love to come.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you then.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Anyway, the employee was fired from the Polo Club in New York. I was going to say by Ralph Lauren. They were not fired by Ralph Lauren. They were fired from the Polo Club. The Polo Club is owned by Ralph Lauren, but probably had very little day-to-day. I am not wearing underwear today. Unfortunately, I will be wearing underwear tomorrow. I have to go to an in-person work event. This is why I should be ending this pretty soon, and I will be. And I will be.
Get a job!
Me too. This is Cautionary Tale off of the Mean Girls soundtrack. Yeah, when in doubt, play track 1, side 1, and yeah, it performed by Barrett Wilbur Weed and Greg Henson. I knew I was gonna love this whole soundtrack just from this. I knew it was gonna, from the lighting, from the. I love the Mean Girls, the musical, so much that I was somewhat, but not entirely, disappointed by the movie. But what's weird is that's what's going to hold the test of time. Like, anyway, they could have done it right. They did it dirty. They did it dirty. No one died. No, you would not. Bossy. And being hit by a bus. Anyway, after being fired for drunk, they filed a 20-page lawsuit accusing other co-workers of being more drunk and selling cocaine and putting cocaine in spray bottles on their faces, which feels like a waste of cocaine, but I can confirm people in restaurants use cocaine. Yeah, I don't know how to, yeah.
When I was 5, I fell in love. It didn't last.
How?
He ran from me, literally ran from
How is that stupid with wait, that is so wrong. Wait.
When I was 5.
Okay. What the fuck? Oh. I see. No. I don't see because oh. Cautious Town, it roars. Meet the Plastic, Stupid with Love, Apex Predator. Oh, I see. Me too. Because I'm on the wrong side. Well, as we're moving into Halloween season, I'm going to play Sexy.
Sexy mouse.
Duh. Alright, that's the okay, that's what you get of that song. Sorry. If someone gets hurt. This is why the musical soundtrack is so much better than the movie soundtrack. They both have versions of this, and shout out to Renee Rapp. You did the best you could with the direction and material you were given, but creative choices in Mean Girls, the musical, the movie, like, that's a thing. It is. And the reason you don't even know that is because it was so disappointing and forgettable and regrettable, and there were so many directions they could have gone with things, but the two Camerons together is the only reason that movie needed to exist. Yeah, but again, cocaine in a spray bottle doesn't feel like an efficient delivery system. But the fact that the culture at this restaurant was like, let's all do this. Excuse me. And in any event, it has invited a broader discussion of drugs in the service industry, which I'm actually putting a corner on this note, indicating we will return to. Of the relatively few times I've taken cocaine, and I would say under 5, I can count them on one hand. They were all in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They were in most ways under duress, but a kind of duress that I can only describe as when I was in my 20s, I would just say no thank you, and I would be like, and if the peer pressure that was like, but I can't enjoy my cocaine if you're judging me. Okay, don't enjoy your cocaine. The peer pressure that got me to take cocaine would never work now and hasn't worked since my early 20s. But I did do cocaine, and at least one time was at work, and then I waited on Santa Fe Police Department, including the Chief of Police, Martin Bird. That is a true story I will tell every single time, because my boss, we were in the back room at Caro's in Santa Fe, which no longer exists, and then I don't know if he made me start doing I don't know if he was watching them. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was a prank. But I'm pretty sure he saw the police come in. He was like, hey, do cocaine with me. I was like, I never do cocaine with you. And I know you do cocaine, and I always cover for you, and I never complain. And I do the inventory on Sunday nights so that you can go into the office and do cocaine. Why are you now randomly inviting me to do cocaine? Again, because I think it was a prank. Because then he was like, oh, you have to go wait on all of them right now. And or he just saw the entire police department show up and was like, I'm not taking that. I'm not dealing with that. Separately, at a different restaurant called J. Breeze on St. Francis, his sister, so that was Gabrielle, you know who you are, and his sister Nora, who at the time was dating the general manager, but of course she wouldn't tell me that, convinced me to smoke pot with her in a boiler room that I only went into that room one time. I never even, in fact, other time, like later, I was like, I can't even remember where that room was. Like, was that even a real room? Like, where I couldn't even find where that, but she took me into some weird boiler room, and this sounds like Freddy Krueger, to smoke pot, but then only to send me back out on the floor and like laugh about it. And I was like, oh my God, but the boss is going to know I'm on pot. I thought we were on break. And she was like, no, our breaks are only blah, blah. Anyway, she convinced me it was a lunch break, but then it was a 10-minute break. And then she was like, no, you have to go back out there and serve. And then the general manager made it a point to like observe me really closely. But then I found out they were dating, and it was all just a prank. Like, he knew I was high because he knew. Anyway, separately, me and Angela, the mother of Mikey Miller from Logical Nonsense's children, 2 at the time, but maybe they have more, we smoked pot in her car. This is like 6 months later. Yeah, I guess I don't care anymore because I know the GM doesn't care. We're smoking her pot in her car on a lunch break, and I listened to Logical Nonsense's Expand the Hive for the first time. That would be a logical choice to play right now, but I'm not going to do the effort to find that. In keeping with, I don't think I've played many covers or any covers, but in keeping with the theme of last night's episode, which is actually a completely different show called, I've already forgotten. I already forgotten what this show is called. Okay. Yeah, this show is called Some Version of Everything You Said is Easily Googleable and Wrong. Come on. And then, intrusive thoughts. Me, when I won't let those intrusive thoughts in because I can't remember what the previous show was called. Okay, I'm on the right disc. I just have to write. Okay. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. I actually do a cover of this myself. Although it's entirely about adultery and possibly like underage. But anyway. Right. So I guess that's it. When he says I like my girls a little bit older, does that mean older than you? So typically I like my girls a little bit older, or in which case this is still a love song to someone who he considers too young? Or is Josie older and he's saying, hey, girl, I like my girls a little bit older. That would be acceptable, but I don't... I feel like I'm missing a note, but also that's probably okay. Mintish now open. They're doing a soft launch. 515 Harvard Avenue East, a Palestinian American owned coffee shop or tea shop. UW graduate. Yeah, I think some of these are old news or old notes. I'm excited that of all the spider people, there was a spider character called Spider Ramen that is a sentient bowl of ramen noodles that shoots noodles out of their webs, obviously instead of webs because they're Spider Ramen, and their alter ego is Peter Pot Noodle. I'm so glad that exists. I had written down which universe. Yeah, it's a fan-created character that Marvel canonically invited into the... I love when they do that. I love when they just acknowledge that their fans are as creative as they are and just say, fuck it. That's real now. And then my final reflection, and then but I'm actually adding this note to a future episode because I don't think I don't have the records to discuss it, or the energy at this particular moment. But this is my final reflection. Why, in my mind, and again, we already talked about this, I have no ability to give anyone else the N-word pass, nor is there such a thing. There was a Dallas artist named Jen Lee who thinks friends they have, but the fact that they think that is already why they're wrong, because your friends can give you a pass to say the N-word to them, your black friends, but that is not a universal pass. That is your first misunderstanding. But they're really, really, really trying to reintroduce it right now. They're really, any way they can make sure that it will become, in the future, acceptable in public. I mean, it's still, obviously, they all still do in their circles and whatnot. But acceptable in public and unquestioned. Like, you're, how dare you question? That's just a word. People are allowed to say words, free speech, however they want to reintroduce it. That being said, I'm going to end with Atreyu, I think, maybe, probably. But this is the question. Actually, this is the invitation. Like, let's all reflect on this. Oh, okay. No. All right, I got to hear this, actually. I'm just making, because that would be hilarious, but I don't think it is. Okay. Is it Atreyu? But no, the prompt, and we'll talk about it definitely in the next episode. Why do Yoko Ono and Patti Smith get passes for saying the N-word? And again, for real, they don't get passes. That if you decide, no, they don't. But also generally they do. But I can't speak for anyone else or give you a pass or anyone a pass. But I will play Yoko Ono and Patti Smith, including that one Patti Smith song. I will explore in future episodes why do they get a pass. And then the Natural Born Killer soundtrack, Trent Reznor gets a pass. And then Oliver Stone gets a pass. I always forget that Natural Born Killers isn't directed or produced by Quentin Tarantino. It feels like such a Quentin Tarantino movie, and if it was, he wouldn't get the pass. And I'm admitting this, like, yeah. any association of Quentin Tarantino and the N-word, I'm like, he just loves that shit. But again, Natural Born Killers is an Oliver Stone movie. Trent Reznor produced the soundtrack. Quentin Tarantino has no involvement. They get the pass. Patti Smith gets the pass. So, and again, I can only speak for myself. I am not giving a blanket pass to anyone. I have no authority to do that. And that's not because I'm biracial. One person once suggested that. They were like, oh yeah, well, you're not black enough to give the pass. And I was like, no, there is no pass. What are you? But also, Patti Smith gets the pass despite the fact on Rock and Roll N-word, you can tell how much she delights in saying that word, because there's a bridge where she just says it over and over and over, and you can tell she delights in it, but she still gets the pass. And then, as does, I said, for me only, I can't speak for anyone else, and you are not authorized. This is not God bless your ass, but also God bless your ass if you, I'm an ordained minister. If you need a blessing, God bless your ass. If you need to be married, you're married. I don't know who you are, but you're married. If you need a certificate, it depends on the state you're living in, but literally in some states, a video you're married counts, and I am legally an ordained minister. Soon to be double ordained to a known church, and I would get my pets ordained, but that's also whatever. What are we talking about? Talking about Patti Smith, Yoko Ono, and I will always talk about them. And yes, everything I just said is easily Googleable. Whether you disagree or not, it's easily Googleable. That was X's and O's. This is Shameful by this is the only album I own, and as far as I know, even know about, that opens like this. It's like a Mad magazine. Anyway. I found all my noisemakers. Terrifier. And then the ultimate, the Jibber Jabber. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Trying to think if there's like anything else, like last minute. I'm just gonna check. Well, we already talked about the FBI Director Patel clashes with Dems as Senate hearing turns into shouting match. We already talked about that. Jane Fonda can't stop crying in an emotional statement after Robert Redford's death, for sure. Dems protest as Pentagon directs 600 military lawyers to work as immigration judges. Yeah, and I'm worried about haircuts. Pam Bondi's comments on targeting hate speech ignites First Amendment concerns. Some say we got milk wrong. New push challenges decades of U.S. nutrition policy, though it does the image chosen is like RFK holding ice cream. Isn't that like the whole right wing? Like, oh my God, Joe Biden eats ice cream. That's like the worst thing any human, especially a politician, especially a male politician, can ever do is eat ice cream. But here's RFK eating ice cream. So yeah, right wingers pick and choose your battles, I guess. Oh, and then I don't think back to Dean and his whole thing. He was part of the quote unquote unblank America tour, and their logo was literally just the Charlie Kirk logo. Like their affiliation and how it's like Gavin Newsom level. Like we're just doing I know you are, but what am I? And I'll call it out from the right, but I will call it out from the left as well. You're just doing I know you are, but what am I? And that's not cute, and that's gross. Bye. Wait, I'm seriously like, wait, I already pressed no. Okay, thanks for watching. The show is over. I appreciate you though. But the show is, as the episode is over, it should be. Let me end it. Stop holding me hostage, YouTube. Holy shit, why won't the episode end? Like, that's...